So at this point with Oakley, we're actually riding in the arena without really any spooking issues for the most part. And so now we're really kind of putting her to work more. She's learning a lot more of the body control stuff, her turn on the haunches, picking up the shoulder, all that kind of stuff is getting a lot better. We're just starting to ask her to really kind of get a little bit of a frame and consistently stay softened to the bit. She'll soften. She's not real heavy or anything per se, but just kind of really asking her to kind of get into that a frame and hold a headset consistently and to stay between my aids. So I'm starting to ask her for more maneuvers, serpentines and figure eights and precise circles and that kind of stuff. And so we're just kind of at the beginning stages of that stuff. So you'll kind of get to see where she's at this point. And I already had lunged her today and warmed her up some. So I'm just checking in with her a little bit before we start off to work. And I do want her to stand still though, even when I'm fidgeting around, especially because she was so spooky in the beginning with having a rider up above her. So I really like to be able to kind of shift my weight around and rock the saddle and move around a lot and have her just stand still for it and not be concerned about it at all. So I'm just getting a couple little turn on the haunches. And again, just kind of checking in with her, and she's doing quite a bit better. She's not shutting down so badly. I'm just getting a couple steps here or there, but then throughout the ride as she warms up and is you know, I can feel her softening to my aids, then I can increase the amount that I am asking her to turn around. So now I'm asking her to pick up the shoulder, which is way better than the last video posted of when we first started with that. It's so much better. She's made a lot of progress with it. And again, just some little turn on haunches, just throwing all kinds of different stuff in there. Because the more and more that I get her used to me placing her feet in very specific ways, the better riding horse that she's going to be, because she's going to be used to giving her rider that much control that you can really place her precisely where you want her. And now we're doing our picking up the shoulder the other way. And yeah, so much better. She's not shutting down on me or pushing into it or anything. She's actually really understanding that she needs to move off of that rein. Yeah, much better with the turn on the haunches too. And so right there, she'll want to sometimes toss her head up. Sometimes she'll stay really soft to it, and then other days she'll want to kind of pull on you and toss her head up some. And so then I just kind of hold, just like right there. I'll just hold and kind of lower my hands, and I'll hold and ask her head down. And then when she softens, then I take her into the turn on the haunches again. Oh, my cameraman's getting a little crazy there. Okay, so now we'll go into our trot work. And again, just kind of asking her to have some consistency in her frame at the trot a little bit. Not yet, I'm not, but that's what our goal is that we're working towards. First, right now, I'm doing some transitions and just kind of really making sure that I have control, that she's not going to get, you know, real kind of flighty about now that we've gone up into a trot, and that she'll come down smoothly for me. She'll transition up smoothly for me, and just make sure that she's really is listening to my leg and my body cues for both up and downward transitions. And I'll usually, when I'm doing the transitions like this, I'll usually do them like every 10 strides or something like that usually. Okay, now I'm asking her to pick up her shoulder at a trot. And then when she kind of wants to toss her head up in the air, then I'll just hold. And she's backing up. I'm not forcing her backwards, but I'm holding and I'm lowering my hands. And I'm holding and I'm asking her head to come down. And so then she chooses to back up. And I'm not going to really punish her for it. What I'm waiting for is for her to soften. And so I kind of ignore that because it's not the right answer. And she'll figure out that that doesn't help her any, that it's when she softens, then that's when she gets a release and we move on. And you can see her kind of wanting to toss her head up some through the transitions when I'm asking her to come down. And that's just those finesse things that we're working on. Because she does come down, but now let's get her to come down, you know, smoother and keeping a nicer headset and keeping some contact on the reins and not wanting to toss her head up through it. Okay, now I'm asking her to pick up her shoulder again. And she's kind of wanting to toss her head a little bit. And again, she's just having to really kind of build that finesse. Good, but she's doing the movement well. She's really crossing over in the front, even from behind you can tell. That one was a much better transition. You see when she came down, she kind of kept her head a lot more level. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of choke up just a little bit and ask her to really kind of keep a little better headset. Before, I didn't want her to toss her head up in the air, but I didn't really necessarily ask her for, you know, for her to be really on the vertical. I kind of let her have some slack. And so now I've choked up just a little bit, and I'm asking her to actually give me a little bit better headset because I'm going into a serpentine. And so I want her to really stay between my reins and between my legs and really have straight lines and very precise half circles through her turns. So it's not just good enough to turn left. I'm really looking for, I have a size in my mind of what that half circle should be, and I want it to be very precise. I generally want it to be the same each time, depending on what the horse is doing. Sometimes I might ask for them to do a couple turns that are bigger or smaller. But I'm doing this 3-loop serpentine, and I want it to be an even 3 loops up and down the arena. And I don't want her falling to the inside or the outside. I want her staying straight between my 8s. And so I like to have more contact for that, and so that's why I choke up a little bit. And she's not doing terribly bad. It's hard to see in video all the more finesse things that we're working on. and especially for the depth perception, it's hard to see those little moments where she veers off the line just a little bit and I have to bring her back to it. But definitely not bad at all. So you can see her kind of wanting to resist a little bit there, wanting to toss her head up a bit. And it's funny because you can tell, you can see it, and I can always feel it. Whenever she wants to resist a little bit with her head, she always starts to shorten her stride too when she does that. So just adding some turns in there. But way better with her confidence because she was really spooky towards the beginning of riding her. First she was spooky about the rider. She wasn't never really spooky on the ground, so it surprised me that she would startle so easily, because first it was the rider, which is somewhat normal, and she had her own things that she was going through. But then once she got used to me being on her back, she still was very spooky about stuff going on around her. And I don't know if it was just because we do tend to have a lot of activity and stuff going on around the ranch. There's a lot of things to distract them or what, but she was very jumpy about stuff going on. So the fact that now I'm able to take her out into this open space and really concentrate on working with her and, you know, have her not be just wanting to look all over the place or startling at, you know, anything as we ride by or whatever is good. And she never really had a really bad big spook, but it was just kind of a general jumpiness all the time. And so the fact that she's kind of calmed down and I can put her to work now and she actually learns, because when they're distracted and jumpy like that, you just don't learn anything. You know, you're too busy kind of trying to do a damage control a little bit more. And so now that she's calmed down, now she's really starting to learn stuff. And so throughout all the turns and serpentines and little circles and whatever, you know, all the while my goal is, you know, for her to be developing that contact and, you know, just like I said, staying between my aids and having a softness and listening to my aids. And, you know, so you can see she's not really consistent with her headset throughout the trot work, but there's, you know, making a fuss about it isn't going to help anything. The best thing for that, for a young horse, is for the rider to stay really consistent. And, you know, you can make some corrections here or there, but you don't want to fuss with them. If you start to fuss and fiddle all the time, then you're going to end up annoying them more than anything. And you'll make it worse for them to be tossing their heads and chewing on the bit and all those kinds of things if you're constantly fiddling with it. So if you just hold really steady, making a correction sometimes, but you just hold steady and let the horse find you. Let them find that happy place of where they can be, that there isn't pressure on them. And then you'll get it more consistently. So right here we're doing a turn on the haunches, and she's kind of wanting to back into it. There, she starts to go. There, she's getting it right there. Good girl. Much better. Good. And you can really see her starting to develop her coordination and kind of thinking about where she's going to place her feet and whether she's going to cross over or cross under or what she's going to do with them. Yeah, she's getting some pretty good 360s now, so she's really progressed from the last video of the body control stuff with her. Do a little disengaging, so why not? And some more radials are picking up the shoulder. I'm not really sure what my cameraman's doing right now. He's new to the program, so we'll cut him some slack for his first video. And just kind of mixing it up a little bit. Maybe a 180 turn on the haunches into a picking up the shoulder. And just like I said, just kind of playing with it. Getting her used to it, letting the rider have that control. So just asking for a little backup, and I don't want her tucking her head between her legs. So I kind of asked her, as soon as I start to ask for the backup, she wanted to really throw her head down between her knees. So I lift my reins up until she'll kind of lift up in the front a little bit, which she picked up right away. So now this is actually the first time that I'm asking her for a real actual side pass. So since I can do the turn on the haunches, and I can disengage, and I can pick up the shoulder, then the side pass should come not too terribly difficult. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be straight, it doesn't have to be pretty. All I want is for her to step over with the front and the hind. Yeah, just like that, good girl. Without, walking off or backing up too much. Chances are you're going to get a little bit of that in the beginning, and you don't want to be too terribly strict or they'll never get it right. You want to show them when they're heading in the right direction. So like right there, she took a step with the hind and a step with the front, so then we tell her she's good. And then she starts to understand what I'm asking for. So now we'll go to the other direction, and look at how pretty that is. Perfect. Much easier to that side. So we're going to quit her there, because really for the first time asking her, that was a lovely side pass.